Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about why setting boundaries with narcissists is so hard and difficult. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel and hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. Now let's get going. So as we know that these narcissists by default feel entitled and they deserve that special treatment they need, and they deserve all that admiration, appreciation, and that's how it is. And when you are in a relationship with a narcissist, things are so enmeshed and dysfunctional that you really don't know what is right and what is wrong. You just go on doing, in hopes that one fine day the narcissist would change or things are going to, get better. But that is now not how it is. Nothing changes and nothing gets better. Instead, it becomes more toxic and more dysfunctional. So these narcissists are all about just taking and not giving, because they think that they deserve everything good. They deserve, all the things that is good, and, they deserve to be treated, in a great way, and they need all that admiration and everything. They have this thing inside of them, that, sense of entitlement. And that's how it is. They think that they are superior and they deserve the best. And they really don't care what's going inside of you and what's bothering you, what's hurting you, what's tormenting you, what's destroying you, what's eating you from inside. That's none of their concern. All what they are concerned about is what they can get out of you. Yeah, because you are a supply. So, with these narcissists, things are very badly enmeshed. There are no healthy boundaries. Now, when someone tries to create a healthy boundary, there are a lot of things, that come into play, and, the entire abuse begins. Yeah, so with these narcissists, first, in creating boundary, we are, scared of being judged. People might label us as self. The narcissist might call us selfish, for creating boundaries, because we just have to go on serving and keep on doing what we are asked to do. And if we say no, that is again a kind of a narcissistic injury. So, there is a lot of this guilt and shame, in saying no, or in denying, to what the narcissist wants out of us. And that is how, the relationship dynamic is when you are with a narcissist. There is nothing called healthy boundary. I mean, there is nothing called healthy space where you can be yourself, where you can say no and, take care of yourself. You just have to be devoted to them. You just have to keep pleasing them, keep admiring them, keep praising them, and whatnot. So, it gets very difficult, for anyone. I mean, for example, I knew this girl, and she had a narcissistic husband. And she knew that, she was abused, beaten, verbally abused and whatnot. But still, she used to feel scared in saying no to her husband, and she had this guilt attached to it. So whenever we used to have these, sessions, me and that girl, I often used to ask as to how she feels, when the narcissist, I mean her husband, wants something. I mean, if she's, not capable enough to do that, to meet the needs and the wants of the narcissist, I mean, what goes inside of her? And she used to say that she feels very guilty. She knows that her husband was abusive and, really horrible towards her, but still she felt bad in saying no. She felt as if, she's obligated to go on, doing what she's supposed to do. So that is how, these relationships with narcissists are. And narcissists, again, believe in just taking and not giving. That doesn't exist in the dictionary. It's all about them, And the moment you say no, you are being judged, you are being profiled, and you are being labeled as a selfish woman, a selfish man who is saying no. Coverts might react in a different way, grandiose might react in a different way, but overall they don't appreciate if someone says no to them. And there are different ways they lash out. Sometimes they can be you know verbally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive, passive aggression. They can get into all these indirect, sarcastic comments, and they will go on gaslighting you and, making you second guess and make you feel miserable. So, this is how it is with narcissists, and it is really difficult to have a healthy boundary, because, guilt and shame uh, is one of the most important component, or guilt and shame is like a glue that binds the victim to the narcissist. Yeah, so the narcissist is in constant guilt tripping. Yeah, and guilt tripping the victim and getting them to do what these narcissists want them to do. So saying no is not an option for a lot of people who are in relationship with narcissists. Some of us are lucky, we come out of that relationship and we heal ourselves, and some of us are not that strong and lucky that or privileged that we take that step and we come out of such abusive and toxic relationship. I have seen a lot of these victims. They often come and tell me that they know that their mother is narcissist, and she had been very abusive and she manipulated them. They know everything, but still, because they are so much conditioned in with guilt and shame around since childhood, that still they feel obligated, still they keep on justifying their mother's bad behavior. And when I ask them that why is it so, I mean, that she is bad, and you moved on and you are trying to create a healthy boundary, and maybe she has the other child as her supply now. So these victims, these children that I come across who have narcissistic mother, they say maybe she has got other children as well, but I have got one mother. I mean, that is one way of justifying. If they fail to do something, they still feel guilty, and they there is this invisible shame that surrounds them, that I have said no to her. Ideally, in a healthy relationship, no is okay. To create healthy boundary is absolutely fine, and whatever you are capable of doing, you can say yes, and if you're not capable of doing something, you can say no. Healthy relationship is where you can say no and not being judged, labeled, guilt tripped and shamed. Yeah, but with narcissists it's different. So yes, I come across a lot of people. They have come far out and away from narcissistic relationships or narcissistic families, but still they have this shame at the back of their mind, and still they experience guilt and shame when they are unable to do things. Yeah, when they are asked to do and when they are unable to do things, because it is so badly imprinted. I mean, I'm talking about the kids, those who have narcissistic parents. They are so badly imprinted that they are conditioned not to say no. If they say no, they are guilt tripped and they are made to feel as if they are horrible beings. They are never supposed to say no to what their narcissistic parents want and say, and they have to go on saying yes, yes and yes. So it's quite difficult. See, being in a narcissistic relationship and handling all these, kinds of manipulation, abusive behavior, passive aggressions, it gets difficult. It gets so difficult that you come to a point where you even forget your own self. I have, been with narcissists in the past, and I know how uh, how complicated it is. I was so engrossed in them. I was so involved in them, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, wanting to make them happy, wanting to get those, tiny bits of approval and validation. And in hopes of, getting those validation, I went on doing it. And they never used to give that validation or that, compliment that, thank you, Sarah, you have done this. I'm really very obliged and thank you so much. No, they feel as if they are superior beings, they are entitled, and they deserve the best treatment, and I'm there to give them the best treatment. So setting boundaries with narcissists is very hard and very complicated, because the moment you start taking those tiny bit of steps in creating some kind of a fence or a boundary, you would immediately be judged and labeled as being selfish and being a horrible person and being mean. And we are very scared when we are in a relationship with narcissists. We are really scared. We are scared of being judged. We are scared of being labeled as selfish. We are scared of being labeled as bad person, especially by the narcissist. That is how complicated it is to be with narcissists. For saying no, we feel guilty. For creating boundaries, we are labeled mean. For trying to have my own space and privacy, I'm being labeled as selfish. So it's really complicated, because it's all about them. We are just a supply in a narcissistic relationship. We are just a supply for them, and nothing else. So no matter how much you try, I don't think, no matter how much we try and create boundaries, it's very difficult and next to impossible, to create a healthy boundary. So again, the best is to come out of such relationships, but those of us who are not lucky and privileged enough, we have to keep on trying, to create those tiny bits of fences and boundaries. We have to go on trying. That's how it is. uh, we can't keep on advising anyone and everyone to just come out of such relationships. We have to, really be convinced. We have to gather all that strength from within, and only then we can come out of, toxic relationships. It's not easy for people. They might say, oh no, is he toxic? Is she toxic? Just leave her, just dump her. It's not that easy. Trust me. I mean, I do come across a lot of people, and it's very easy to say, but it's very difficult to do. There is a lot of these, unhealthy emotional enmeshment, and things are so badly enmeshed that it takes time. It takes time, and then they successfully come out of it or grow out of it. So it takes time. It's not like this and you are out. No, that would be absolutely mean and selfish. If I go on profiling people, and if I go on telling them that why don't you just dump them and leave them and come out of it, it's not that easy. It was not easy for me also to come out of such relationship. It took time. So let everyone take their own time, process things, understand, and rebuild things within, and then take that decision. By constantly judging them for not taking decision, that is also bad. You never know what that person is suffering inside. You really have got no idea. So we know that narcissists are very abusive, manipulative, and toxic, but we often fail to understand what the victims go through. We just see them physically, and oh, you're all right, just chuck him out of your life, just leave her. We just suggest this, and then if we see that they are unable to do it, we start judging them. Oh, you're so lazy, you just go around the same thing again and again. Why are you carrying all that shit? Why are you taking all that shit of that person? Just dump them, just leave them. it's not that easy. You really don't know what is the emotional and the psychological state of that victim. You really don't know how much they have been, gaslighted, or how much they have been, tormented and manipulated all those years. So it's not that easy. Slow and steady. And that is how it is, with narcissistic abuse recovery as well. It takes time. It's not a matter of a day, week, or a fortnight, or a month, or a year. It takes time. So yes, this was all about setting boundaries. It's very difficult. Trust me, it's very difficult. We can keep trying, but it's very difficult to keep those boundaries in place for long, because these narcissists will go on violating personal spaces, boundaries, because they feel entitled. They'll keep running all over it. So things are difficult. In case if you would want to add in something to it, you are free to comment below. And this was it. So please take care of yourself. And also I would like to add in something. When you are in relationship with narcissists, I'm not talking about the family thing. I mean, growing up with narcissistic parents, but in a romantic setup, if you see the signs, I mean, earlier, or if it's in the early stage, if the relationship is in the early stage, and if you can see the red flags, then it's quite easy to come out of it. Yeah, but if you're married, if you've spent years, then it gets very difficult to come out. It needs a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and a lot of work within to really come out of such toxic relationships. So yes, keep observing and keep noticing the red flags. And yes, this was all about boundaries, and how complicated it is, how difficult it is, how hard it is, to create those boundaries and set those boundaries, when you are in a relationship with a narcissist. Yeah, so please take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.